Make sure you're good. Oh, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, baby.
It's been a while, it seems.
It really has. I think the last episode, new materials of you and me.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, for just you and I.
No, we just had an episode.
Was it?
Yeah, like episode 199.
Which seems like it was a long time ago.
That's probably like 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah. All right, well, I guess we're ready.
All right, let's do this.
Hey, we are back, and this is the very much, how does that, patchwork episode 200.
Do you want to start that intro again?
No. Just, I mean, this was not the planned episode 200.
Nope.
But it's the one we've got. So 2 for 200 is what it is.
Well, it's the 200th episode with the two most popular hosts.
Well, I mean, Missy, I would almost bet because she's a woman, Missy would get the votes.
Okay.
But that's because people
Didn't work out for Elizabeth Warren, though.
No, it didn't. Or any of the other women that were running. But we were just sitting here talking. What we are doing this episode, it is kind of a throwback to when we used to rate beers all the time on our episodes. So we do have a 6-pack of beers to rate. They were provided by the Beer Sauce Shop. They were picked out by my daughter, and we're going to start with the worst one. So before we jump in the topics...
you don't know it's going to be the worst one. It could be the best.
It's a sour.
Well, that doesn't necessarily make it the worst one.
So it's my least favorite style.
Okay.
How about that? And it is blueberry, and the name of it is The Fun House. It's from Sudwork Brewing in Davis, California. It is a blueberry pastry stout. And let's see if they say anything nice on the can. Sour beer brewed with blueberries, lactose, and vanilla. So, you know what? Doesn't sound that bad.
Yeah.
It might be good. So I'm going to pour us a couple.
I hear Funhouse. I think of that TV show when we were kids. That looked like the funnest thing ever. You know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
It was a game show where it was kids, and if the kids won, they got to go into the Funhouse to try to win prizes.
I don't remember the Fun House. I remember TV Fun House, but that was an adult thing.
I'll look this up.
That was like a skit on SNL TV Fun House.
Yeah, that was Robert Smigel's deal, right? Robert Smigel?
Funhouse. No, I don't. I mean, I remember a lot of different kinds of game shows from Nickelodeon and all those guys.
All right, here we go. Funhouse, hosted by J.D. Roth.
Oh, you know what else he did?
It's something famous, right?
I don't know. I just wanted to see if you did. I did not.
Okay, well, it was on from 88 to 91.
88 to 91. All right, so 3-year on what channel?
Nickelodeon, it looks like.
It had to be Nick or Disney, right?
Actually, it might have been syndicated.
Was this one where... I think I vaguely remember. The Fun House was like a cutaway side view of the house, right?
Yes.
And we could go up and down in it? Yeah,
exactly
I do remember
right.
that. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good... I mean, remember the Astro Crag, Guts?
Oh, yeah, Guts is great.
Guts was great. And then there was...
Legends of the Hidden Temple?
Yeah, Legends of the Hidden Temple was one of the big ones.
Yeah.
That was the one I always wanted to do. Well, and then, the mother of all the kid game shows, Double Dare.
I think I read... I think there's like a documentary on Legends of the Hidden Temple where it was almost impossible to actually beat the legend. So every once in a while they'd have an episode where... they would tell the kids where exactly to go. Otherwise, there was like no fucking chance of the
It was like Quiz Show. They were rigging it.
Yeah,
they were rigging the game back then. Well, I mean, if it was impossible to beat, I always. You said at home when you'd watch those games, and you're like, "Why are these people so stupid?"
Yeah, I can do this.
Yeah, and then, but when there's time and pressure and all that, but still, I some of those it was like, well. Even going back to like Bozo the Clown, the grand prize game, when a kid would miss the first bucket, I was like, "You're the worst kid in the world."
The worst, like all you do is like literally.
And I always told my mom, I said, we got to get to Chicago because I think I could just reach the fourth bucket with how long-armed I was as a kid. It's like, this is my game. I can do this.
Yeah.
But no, I probably missed the first bucket too when we got on there. But hey, let's try this first beer.
All right.
And then we'll get in. And it is a very colorful beer. Oh, cheers.
This looks like a blueberry Pop-Tart in a beer.
I think that is kind of what they're going for. It's not awful. It's not great. It's not my least favorite sour, but it's still.
I would say I'd probably like this more in the can. It does not look appealing.
No, it does not.
But it tastes better than it looks.
It looks like you remember when Purple Passion was sold in 2-liter bottles. Like
yeah,
it looks like a liquor that would be sold in a 2-liter bottle.
Yep, it looks like some hooch.
It does. It does. It looks like $4 for a 2-liter of alcohol.
You should be drinking this out of a paper bag, complaining about the government, and voices inside your head.
Yeah, it's not good. But if you were to give it a rating out of 5, what would you give it?
Like you said, though, not as bad as I thought. I would say out of 5, I'm going to go 2.25.
I'm going to say I was 2.5 was right where I was thinking.
Okay.
It is, which is a solid rating for me for a sour beer. But anyway, now that we got the first beer out of the way, it was kind of a little slow start. We did talk about game shows, so that's good. There was a couple things I did want to talk about today, and I'm going to
No show notes. I'm a little nervous.
No, I got them over here. I just never
nice.
printed them off. All I did this time, though, was stuff to talk about. For instance,
Alrighty.
one of the reasons this episode's kind of come together the way it has, one, I guess we should throw it out there because Bender planned to be here on Sunday. He planned the day, and then he's not here.
Hey, you know what? There was a while where I may have lost my number 2 spot, but I think within the last 2 or 3 weeks, I have grasped it and taken it for my...
I mean, he literally said on the air, if I gave him options, he created this date
Yeah.
and then forgot about it. So he's out. Now, the reason the flop's not here is my oldest daughter had a volleyball tournament in Rockford, Illinois, and they're on their way back. They should be back at like 10 o'clock
wow.
tonight. So,
Rockford, Illinois. What a sexy city that is.
and they won the first time they've ever won a tournament.
That's great.
Yeah, they
Congratulations.
finished first. So we're excited about that. But since this was one of the other reasons this was thrown together is work's been a little hectic, which we always use that excuse. But this week, it's kind of I want to dive more into that work thing. So we had
Nobody cares about our jobs.
Well, no, but I want someone. I want to try to. I'm trying to grasp this concept because it was a St. Louis home show this week, and we were the big sponsor. You can figure out who I work for if you saw any of the commercials. We were the main sponsor of the show, but so we're setting up our stuff on Tuesday because you can literally drive right into the dome at the America Center, and you drive up to your spot and you unload everything and you set it up for a Thursday through Sunday show. But so right next to us was the exercise bikes and stair climbers, and they literally unload 100 of these things, like mixing various different styles of exercise equipment.
Okay.
And it's not like I never saw one sell, but I think that's what they're there for. And because they throw the boxes away. I saw them throw the boxes away. So these 100 exercise things, and by the way, there probably is just as many hot tubs. All the stuff gets thrown away.
Were the hot tubs working?
Yeah, they had some of them had water in them to show you.
Yeah.
But they had they even had things like that said sold on them, like $30,000 hot tub sold sign on them. But I'm thinking, what kind of weird business model is it that what if they don't sell? What do they do with them? Because now you have open boxes.
Yeah.
Like, is that the ones that go to displays in stores, or what do they do?
Maybe display, or maybe they donate to needy schools or needy.
I don't think the hot
rec
tubs
centers?
are going.
The hot tubs.
Yes. But I mean, when I say hundreds, I'm talking hundreds.
So there's hundreds of hot tubs too.
There at least
That's a whole lot of old people's sex.
No less than 75 hot tubs, more like 100. And because they take up most of one half of the show.
Now, does a hot tub kill the coronavirus?
I don't know. So a funny note about that too. Our bosses, after we even paid for this thing, told us we don't have to be there if we're uncomfortable being there. We get this big corporate memo that went out that all travel for like trips planned are canceled.
Oh, wow.
Like no mill tours, no things like that, no large groups going to travel anywhere, no getting together for which I'm getting together this Tuesday with a bunch of people. But yeah, all of our upper management, everybody, had to cancel all their overseas stuff. And if you have the ability to Skype into meetings, do it.
What's your thoughts on the coronavirus right now?
I think the people dying all have underlying health issues.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. A lot of the ones in the United States were all smoking related health problems. I'm not scared of getting it and dying. The only thing that worries me is it just doesn't seem to be able to get a hold on it from spreading. Like so getting it seems to be relatively a lot easier than I think it's other things in the past. So I'm not worried about the virus like per se. Although I did hear that a person at CPAC got it, and Trump was at CPAC, and at 73 he's got to be a target.
Jeez.
But it just does seem scary how quickly it's spreading.
Yeah.
But the flu's still going to kill more people this year.
Right.
So, and again, those people are usually old people or infants, so.
And this one has not killed anybody under 10 yet, I believe.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the hype is not quite justified, but there still is a little something scary about it.
Yeah, I think I I agree with you. I think it's a little overblown, but I think it's definitely something not to take as a joke either.
Yeah.
I'm probably more concerned about the economy going on the poop shoot.
So why? Why does the economy go on the poop shoot because of the coronavirus?
I think just people being scared. I think also, I mean, you got big travel companies are going to take a huge hit with the loss of travel.
So I do understand the practicality of why some commerce is hurt. People just aren't traveling as much, things like that. They canceled South by Southwest in Austin, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So there are some stimuli to the economy that happen in certain areas. But like a week ago, Wall Street took a hit, and that's all speculative.
Right.
Like, so the fact that you're worried about it and means you don't buy is what perpetuates the falling of the economy. So if you just go out as business as usual, the economy's not going to suffer in terms of that level.
Yeah, it's all speculative. I mean, but production too. I mean, if this thing gets worse, then maybe factories shut down for a week or
That's
two.
it. If it gets worse.
Yeah.
You can't plan for the worst and make the economy tank.
Well,
You
the
know?
economy might have been a little overinflated anyway.
Yeah, well, we're riding a little bit of a false bubble here. I mean, we're getting right back into it with the housing market and the bank lending and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. But it's a weird thing. It's like economy's is the Dow Jones and Nasdaq took a hit because it's the worst one ever because of Corona. Corona literally did nothing to it. I mean, they're like, well, things in China can't be like we're not going to get as many iPhones,
Right.
But because we can't get as many iPhones, buying and selling the stocks across the board have to suffer. It's just silly. It's a silly market we have.
Well, I think the silliest thing is Corona beer is down, 35%?
That's their fault. And here's why it's their
Because
fault.
they named it Corona?
No, it's their fault for not jumping on the right marketing thing. Like,
Yeah.
they should be embracing it. Like, hey, we're the other Corona. Or, hey, the only thing you catch from us is a hangover. Stuff like, I mean, something clever. They should put 6-packs or 12-packs out with a mask on it. Something.
That's pretty good.
They should. I mean, I do see why they would be hurt. People are like, oh, the word Corona. Or there's dumb enough people to think that's where it comes from. But yeah, you've got to embrace it if you're them.
Yeah.
I mean, well, remember T.O. with the Sharpie, and he got fined and was going to get Sharpies
Yeah,
were
got the
banned.
Sharpie.
Sharpie, they cashed that cow. They're like, we're getting on
Good
this.
point.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to think, what would, if it was let's say the Budweiser virus, they could make a play that it's now the Miller Lite virus. What would be Corona's rival? It would be like
I
Budweiser.
mean, Dos Equis.
Yeah, there you go. The Dos Equis virus.
Pacifico or
Pacifico virus?
yeah, it's the Pacifico you got to worry about.
Yeah.
The Negro Modelo is what you got to
There you
worry
go.
about.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean,
Didn't need to go to marketing school or anything. Just came up with that all on his own.
Corona was one of the first beers that I drank because I always thought, well, Corona's probably easier on my belly or palate when I'm really dove into drinking beer.
Yeah.
In fact, my buddy Hal Pal, who is notoriously, he did not drink until he was 22, I think. And then he crammed all life experiences in that year after he tasted that first beer. But his first beer was Corona, and that's the way we sold it to him. Well, this is an easy drinking beer. It's almost a girly beer.
Corona's like the beer you have when you're first starting to drink that sets you apart from everybody else. It's like, hey, look at me, I'm drinking a Corona.
Yeah.
Not a Milwaukee's best. Look at me, all tough and cool.
It's funny because it was a little more expensive, but
Yeah.
you did come across as a little wuss or hoity-toity when you had it. But I gotta tell you, if I'm at a tropical place and Corona's on the menu, I'm not upset. I'm not mad at it.
It's a fine beer.
It's fine.
Where would you have it in your Mexican beer ranks?
I'm a big-time Dos Equis fan, and a special lager, the green bottle. And the reason I love it so much is because 2 of the times I've been down to Mexico, there's always been a stand that sells it for $1.
Yeah.
And every time I taste one, it takes me back to those things.
Sure.
And then I do like Negra Modelo.
I think I'm right there with you. I think I'd have those 1, 2.
And then,
I actually might have Dos Equis Amber above Modelo Lager.
and I like amber. I just like special
agree with you.
lager
I agree with you.
better. So, I mean, here's the thing. None of them are really like too flavorful. They're not like deep flavor.
No.
But they're all very refreshing.
That's a good way of saying it. Yeah.
And that's what I like about them. That's what you could go to a Mexican
Every
restaurant.
time I go, I get one on draft.
You're going to get stuffed. So having a light, refreshing beer always makes you feel okay. Yeah.
I think, they're definitely better in draft than they are in a bottle.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, I still like the bottles, too. And, you still put the lime in there and you turn it upside down. You got to do all your stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you... And you got to try to not spray
I say you
anybody.
probably shouldn't do that with your thumb now with the coronavirus. That's probably a bad thing.
Yeah. I did see Nerdcast Jay shared a thing that said when getting a drink from anyone, and it was someone with their fingers in their the cup holding it for them. Like I said, we put some. I went to Walgreens before the show, and I know this is a moot point. This is just I'm swimming upstream here, but I'm going to try to get some sanitizer.
Okay.
2 jumbo bottles of sanitizer on the shelf. I grabbed them both, went up to the counter, and said, "I bet these are like gold." And she goes, "Where'd you find those?" And I said, "They were on your shelf." She goes, "Oh, we've been sold out for 2 weeks."
Huh.
I was like, "Well, someone snuck them back out, and now they're mine." So, so I got them both, and people did appreciate that I had it at the table. I mean, it just, like you said, common sense and good hygiene will defeat the coronavirus, and people
Absolutely.
like to see that you're practicing that. So,
Yeah.
a lot of elbows, a lot of fist pounds, a lot less shakes than I've ever had.
I went to church today, and they said that for the time being, no more handshakes are the sign of peace.
You would think God would protect people from the coronavirus.
Here's the thing, though. So the priest made a whole spiel about, hey, take the Eucharist in your hand. We don't really want to give it to you in your mouth for the time being.
That's just gross anyway. I've always thought.
Well, here's what was really gross. He goes, yeah, so, right now, if you don't feel like drinking out of the wine, that's totally okay. I don't think Jesus would give me a disease, so I'm going to keep doing it. It's like, really? So Jesus just gives people just get cancer just willy-nilly?
Well, he did cure the lepers, right?
He did, yes.
Yeah. Just not the cancers.
Right, just not the cancers. They weren't around yet.
The funniest meme, and it's since been ruined. The funniest meme I saw was about a week ago. Was everybody stocking up at sanitizer at Costco, still stopping to get every sample on the way out. But now Costco has canceled samples.
Well, that makes sense.
There goes many people's free luncheon up there in the world.
No reason to go up there on Sunday now.
No, none at all. Well, you go on a Tuesday and they got them all out, man.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I go the day when it's least crowd and I get them samples. What I'm always upset about is when I go and see the samples and the same samples are there that were there last week. I'm like, this has got to be a rotating door.
So the worst part is when you have little children and they like the samples when you give them there, so you buy the thing, and then when you take it home and you cook it for them, they're like, eh.
Oh, yeah. They only like it.
Well, what am I going to do with these 48 fucking dumplings now?
When grandma was retired and gives it to him, it's great. But when a dad does it at home, it doesn't quite have the same flavor.
Yeah.
Hey, we mentioned, I just put this down because it's a fun fact. I heard this on a podcast this week. I was talking about the iPhone a while ago not being in production as much. Mm-hmm. Did you know that Cleopatra is closer in age to the iPhone than she is to the Egyptian pyramids?
That is a fun fact.
That is crazy. That is how fast technology has advanced. I mean, it's just silly to think of it that way. But I don't really even have any tangent off that. It's just that's a fun fact.
That's a good thing you could throw at a trivia party.
Yeah. I would, and we would clean up. We got to do another trivia soon.
Yeah, we do.
Also, one of the things I have here to talk about is yesterday. So my wife's out of town. So, and I work the second half of each day of the show. So I had mornings free, me and Hayden. Hayden went with me to the show each day because they had an exotic petting zoo, and there was an alpaca over there, and she loves alpacas, and she got to pet the alpaca. I believe actually liked her.
Wow.
So she was like, I'm adopting an alpaca. That's all there is to it. But so it was just her and I, and in the daytime she's playing video games or something. So I was one of the rare day yesterday morning. I'm like, I'm gonna throw in a movie, just a random movie on Netflix. So I went to Netflix. I just you know what? Search movies, popular movies, and then I was like, how about a sci-fi or an action movie? And the first one that came up on my feed was called Freaks. So I quickly go Freak.
Okay.
Or Freaks with an S. Okay. So I quickly go to my phone to watch the trailer.
Now, were any of these freaks super?
Yeah, well, they were. It's a good. Yeah, in fact, they were super. And so it's Emil Hirsch. It's Bruce Dern, some kid you don't know, and essentially that's the cast. The whole idea is, and you don't know if Emil Hirsch is locked in his house with his daughter, and he's taped everything shut, and all the windows are and he won't let her out, and he won't go to sleep because if he goes to sleep, time will pass. Like as long as he's awake, he can control time's what he keeps telling her. And so it's weird. It's weird. You don't know quite what's so good. Bruce Dern is a ice cream man who's also the girl's grandpa. You find out, and that's not a spoiler alert. You can get that from the trailer. But it is, in fact, a sci-fi movie.
Okay.
And it's really cool. And none of these are spoilers. These are all things you learn really quick. Emil Hirsch's character has the ability to control time.
Oh,
and
wow.
if he's awake, he's got time throws for a bubble around the house. And what it is it's in a world where people start developing superpowers, but with it, like when they cry, tears come from their eyes. There's giveaways, but the humans are scared of them, so they start putting them in camps and killing them.
Okay.
And so Emil Hirsch is protecting his daughter, and there's a couple of plot twists that happen with it, but she starts developing her powers, and Bruce Dern's trying to get her out of the house in order to go and find his daughter, who's her mom. And Emil Hirsch thinks she's dead, but it's a very small, self-contained sci-fi superhero story.
Cool.
And I give it about a 3.5 out of 5.
Not a bad Sunday or Saturday morning view.
Oh yeah, I love those kinds of things, and Netflix is good for that because whether it was Netflix originals or movies that you've never even thought about seeing, they're on there. And like, I would never buy this movie, but I'll throw it on and watch it. Plus, Emil Hirsch is a good actor.
Well, speaking of finding random shit to watch on Netflix, the other day I watched Pete Davidson's stand-up.
I fell asleep to it last night. I can't tell you how long into it I was. I know I was at least 20 minutes into it.
Did you like the first bit with
Louis C.K.?
Louis C.K.
I had heard another comedian talking about it, and they say it. And when they talked about it on a podcast, they go, "I don't want to give away his bit, but it's funny." And I watched it, and I go, "Well, I'll be goddamn, that dude gave away the entire bit." But what a dick! I mean,
yeah.
And so,
and to be clear, Louis C.K., not Pete Davidson.
Yeah, Louis C.K. and. The comedians that were brought it up on the show they brought it up on, they actually said, yeah, with all the Louis stuff and as good as he is known to bury some people.
Yeah, so he's the Triple H of the comedy
he really
world.
is. Yeah, but what do you think overall?
I gave it a 3. Are we doing 6-pack scale or the 5 scale?
5-pack.
Okay.
It's a untapped, universal untapped scale.
I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I thought Pete Davidson going into is a complete douche.
He's super funny.
He's a pretty funny guy and really self-deprecating.
And sometimes it's weird because I've seen him on roast and he mentions that and he's a little better in his delivery. Like sometimes his delivery seems a little off.
Probably because he's high as a kite.
Yeah, and it's part of his shtick.
Right.
But every once in a while I didn't like it.
Well, he got in a little bit of hot water for a minute with the gay community.
Over the show?
Over the show.
I don't think he cares.
Well, actually, the funny part about it is lesbians came to his defense.
All right.
Because he basically did a whole bit about
that was hilarious.
Yeah,
how a
gay guy can just go up and grope women, and women are like, he's right.
He can't go up to a gay guy and tug on his wing and say, hey, it's okay, I'm not into it.
Nice dick, Gary. Not for me. Good job.
Good job. That was funny.
Yeah.
I also thought the other thing that was funny was his in the middle of what's his name, the patched. The one-eyed senator or whatever.
Yeah. Dan Crenshaw.
Dan Crenshaw. In the middle of that, when he's like, oh, I kind of always wanted to do this, he goes, thanks for unpausing. I hope the sex was good.
Yeah.
The Dan Crenshaw thing I thought was funny, too, because he basically said, so I made that guy famous.
Yeah, and he's
or whatever,
absolutely right.
Or whatever. And now you don't hear from Dan Crenshaw anymore.
No, I mean, I think he's still the U.S. Republican that has the most followers. Now, he's got like a fourth of AOC's, but...
Well, it was funny that like he said, and that his bit was, he was a Republican with an eye patch in Texas, so pretty much he was getting that anyway.
Yeah.
That was a layup.
Yeah. I saw Dan Crenshaw's response, which was kind of interesting. He was basically like, the guy I hung out with that night was cool and didn't seem like he was doing a favor at all. He seemed like he genuinely wanted to apologize and move on, but guess that was all bullshit. So
I don't mind.
It's probably somewhere in the middle.
And I don't mind it being bullshit. It was bullshit that he took so much shit for saying he lost it in the war or whatever.
Right.
People said, well, that's super disrespectful. And I agree with him. No, it's not. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like he said, it's a comedy. You make jokes, I mean, that was around the time when people started getting super sensitive on both sides.
Right.
So, go fuck themselves. That's all.
It's toned down a little bit.
I don't even think that it's toned down. I think
But are we down? Are we getting the downswing?
I think comedians are battling back by a complete lack of giving a shit.
Yeah.
The good comedians. Bill Burr never changed his way. Louis C.K., to be honest with you, never changed anything.
Yeah. That's the best part. It's like, and then in one glorious day, yes.
Yeah, Aziz Ansari never changed anything. I mean... And then comics like the Band of Skanks, like Joe Rogan and Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen and Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, none of those guys changed a thing.
Right.
And that's just the thing. comedy stand-up comic shows or stand-up comics and doing live shows are making more money than in history of comics.
Right.
So people, like I made the thing with him with Bender, and he's like, well, it's got to come back. I was like, I don't think anything has to change. I think it's fine. I think just keep doing what you're doing. And the problem is, and we've said this from the very beginning, you and I aren't loud enough. The people that bitch are too loud. And the reason I know that there's more of us than them is because we are selling out arenas for comedians and things like that. I mean, it's like you could not get 80,000 people at to fill a stadium at a conservative rally unless they came from all over the country. You could get 80,000 people from St. Louis to go see Kevin Hart. You know?
I think cancel culture is a little bit on the downswing. I think
so. I think you're right.
I saw some. I think it was a lady comedian blasting Elizabeth Warren for going on SNL last night.
Why?
Because she's not doing enough fighting for Bernie.
Well, I tell you what, Bernie has got screwed. The Democratic Party found a way to screw him again. Super Tuesday might have been called momentum killer for Bernie.
Here's the thing: the Democratic Party didn't screw Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders screwed Bernie Sanders.
All right, Vince. But as soon as everybody started dropping out, you were like, well, shit. That's what was happening. Bernie did have the majority of votes when everyone else was divided. Now that everyone else isn't divided, Bernie does not have the majority of the voters. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be Sleepy Joe, you know.
It is. And, yeah,
Trump's going to win him again.
I don't know.
I think Bernie had a shot at beating him because I believe we're a country of extreme swings, and I don't think Biden's quite extreme enough.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think there's enough middle-of-the-road people who are tired of Trump's bullshit, too. So I know we don't like going down the path of politics too much on the show, so let's go down the path of something that is near and dear to my heart that has less people interested in than politics
This beer?
talk. Not that beer, but I think I actually had that one, maybe.
Oh.
I went to go see 2 weeks ago in the great city of Kansas City, Missouri. Actually, Independence, Missouri, if you're keeping score at home.
That's a suburb.
AEW live and in person. And I saw the best wrestling match in person I've ever seen.
Was that the tag match?
That was not the tag match. We'll get to that in a second. Kenny Omega versus Pac, 30-minute Iron Man match.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Holy shit, was it awesome.
And that was the first match of the night, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
Everything was a little bit of a downer after that. But just a fun fucking show. I mean, I thought I would never get into wrestling again. WWE kind of ruined it for me, but man, I am really, really enjoying AEW. And Revolution, as you mentioned, the tag match between the aforementioned Kenny Omega, Adam Hangman Page versus Young Bucks. Third highest rating from Dave Meltzer of all time. A 6-star match. Said it was the best tag match he's ever seen. Incredible match.
Yeah. It was awesome. I mean, the show.
So you watched it?
I watched them. Yeah, I skip some of it. Like I said, I read the reviews and find out what I want to watch if I can't watch it live. I did get to watch the end of it. That wasn't a cage match. That was the week before, wasn't it?
That was
2 weeks
maybe
before.
2 weeks before. Yeah,
yeah. That which was an awesome moment too.
It was.
Yeah, that. It's a great. I just love the show. I tell you this. I will say this. Side note. I watched a little bit of SmackDown Friday.
Yeah.
And all I watched was the main event, which was the tag team gauntlet match with heavy machinery, and that was a fucking awesome match.
Okay, I'll check it out.
And it was the way it ended, especially with Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler winning, and Miz and John Morrison had a great. Even though they lost, they made their impression felt as one of the most over teams. That, like I said, when WWE is booked right.
Yeah.
It's very hard for even AEW to compete because the guys are so... That's the problem with WWE. Even though that if it's booked wrong, the guys are the absolute top of their game. So it looks like when it's booked wrong, it looks like they're just going through the motions.
Sure.
But when it's booked right, when the stories are right and the wrestlers and fans are bought in, it's hard to beat it. Mm-hmm. But that said, AEW is still front to back as a better product now.
Unbelievable. Well, I don't know front to back because I will say... The women's is rough.
Well, the women's are rough because they haven't started storytelling. But and I'm not going to get into where my thoughts are on the champ for the women right now.
Yeah.
But that match at the pay-per-view was pretty good with that girl. I may have watched it illegally.
Well, they didn't do them any favors by having that match immediately after the Kenny Omega tag match.
Yeah. I think I think what they're and Cody did an interview on this. I think they're also drastically missing a mid card title, and they're going.
Yeah,
they're
they
going
should,
to add
they should
that.
have one. Speaking of Cody, you are a man who likes to put ink on yourself.
I think that neck tattoo is awful.
Is that the worst thing you've ever
The
seen?
most awful thing I've ever seen. It's too colorful in that spot. It's too big. Neck tats. Neck tats are one thing, but neck tat in the spot that he got it, where it kind of creeps up onto his jawline.
Yeah.
Even worse.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Cody Rhodes is a guy who's in great shape. Has only one other previous tattoo. Is it his wife's signature that he has across
it
his
says
heart?
Nightmare.
Nightmare across his heart. Got
Dream. No, it says Dream.
Okay.
It's his dad.
That makes sense.
He's the Nightmare.
He got a neck tattoo on his neck that looks like the American Gladiators
I guess
logo
that
from the
symbol's
90s.
American Nightmare.
Yeah, I guess that's
I don't know.
I guess that's his brand
And-
logo.
Well, they also, the Being the Elite, they do their little YouTube series, and they go. I didn't even have the patience to watch it because the tattoo sucks so bad.
It's bad. And I first saw it, I'm like, that's not real.
That's too bad because Cody is, and all credit to Cody, he is the main guy in the company.
Yes.
He's the president. I mean, he's in charge of almost everything, and he has booked himself perfectly to stay relevant, stay one of the most over guys, but keep himself away from the title picture.
Absolutely.
He's done a good job. And I guess we'll finish on that. Speaking title picture, what a great moment with Moxley winning, and truly you felt that he was truly happy to finally not just get a title, because he got the title in WWE, but he knew it was BS.
Yeah.
But
Be the man.
Be the man. He's the man. He's the
He is.
most over guy in the well, him and Jericho.
I would say Moxley's top 5, most over.
Oh,
Do you know who leads the T-shirt sales?
Who?
Orange Cassidy.
Well, speaking of great matches, that Orange Cassidy match with Pac was awesome. It
Yeah.
made me go back and watch his independent stuff.
Yeah, and it's really good.
I love the match where he gets put to sleep.
Yeah.
The guy rocks him to sleep. But yeah, he can work.
He can work for a comedic wrestler. He can
But that's
certainly
just it. He's a great wrestler that has found popularity as a comedian.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he's just a comedic wrestler, but well, I think Moxley, Jericho, Cody, I think MJF. Did you see,
MJF is super over.
did you see
Yeah,
that?
flicking off the kid. Yeah.
And Cody stood by him.
Yeah, he did.
He's like, they've got creative freedom.
Hangman's very over.
Oh yeah, well, he's very over because they're teasing the move to heel, which is going to make him even more over.
And I think they don't. I don't think they do it.
I don't think these are. I think they're going to put it to the limit because it seems obvious.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't. Maybe Kenny Omega will go heel,
That would be cool.
which he was a heel, and
He was a heel in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be awesome.
Kenny Omega might be, from the limited I've seen of him, he's unbelievable.
Well,
he's unbelievable.
He was considered the best worker in the world.
Yeah.
It's again, it's amazing that he wasn't the first choice for the title. Which
Yeah.
they let Jericho get the American win when he got the win in Japan, and Jericho got it here in the States. And Jericho was the absolute right move. A guy to
Absolutely.
carry a fledgling company, to make all the right decisions, the right promos.
And what I like is they tease him leaving this past week because he's going on tour of Fozzy.
Yeah.
And he's still going to be around.
yeah,
So
it's good.
go if you can when it's here in a month.
I want to. In fact, I'll have to look at the schedule, but I really, really want to because
It's a fun show.
Yeah, it was a blast.
And what's nice is it's 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
They have dark matches afterwards, but we left.
Speaking of over things in St. Louis, our Battlehawks lost today in an ugly game, 15-6.
Yeah, luckily I was at a kid's birthday party, so I didn't have to sit down and
I didn't
all
watch
that.
it. I didn't watch it either. I wonder if that's going to hurt the Upper Dome sales. They're still in.
I doubt it.
They're still in first place in the East. So
I'm still in the honeymoon phase.
yeah.
I'm going on when they're here.
Is that the L.A.
The 21st, the LA Wildcats.
Yeah, that's the next one. I gave away some tickets for a customer for that show. One other thing I've got on here to talk about. Actually, first off, back to the home show. I'm gonna force this joke in, but I did have a slight joke about it. I wonder if the hot tub and the exercise equipment people look at it as our version of the Catalina wine mixer. The fucking Catalina wine mixer. This is where I just wanted to go up to one of the guys at the hot tub. I go, is this where you make your nut for the year? Is that what you do?
How many people do you think made jokes about, hey, does this thing have a time machine on it?
Oh, I don't know. I bet every
least a half a
every
dozen.
person in a wife beater are a sleeveless shirt, which it was so warm there might have been some out there.
Oh, jeez.
one other thing I had to talk about, and I guess we won't talk about it. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to even skip it. I'll mention it. I don't know if you saw this, but there's a Kevin Hart, Jason Statham movie that went to start filming this week.
Okay.
Jason Statham quit.
Oh,
He's like,
jeez.
I'm out. I guess it wasn't anything Kevin Hart did. In fact, he still likes Kevin Hart. But apparently it was because he wanted it an R rating and the studio wanted it a family-friendly film. And he's like, I don't have any interest in that. So he just walked away. He's like, I was sold one way and I got here and it's something different, so fuck off. I guess you're powerful enough. I'm not saying he's a mega star, but he's got enough clout with the fast movies and, big budget stuff.
I don't get the appeal of him.
I like him. He came, especially where he came from, like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch. And
But does anybody else play the same character more than that guy?
ooh, Sean Connery probably did. Let me see.
Well, let's see. Sean Connery.
Well, he was Bond. He's always kind of played the same guy.
Well, no, whoa. He was Henry Jones Sr. That's a straight comedy role.
Okay, he was Henry Jones Sr. They just made him act older, but he was still kind of a stud. He's still super smart, clever. That might have been the one stretch. But I don't know. Yeah, Jason Statham probably. Maybe it's in the second half of his career, Liam Neeson, who's played the same guy in every movie. Since Taken, he's been a variation of the Taken
Was
guy.
Taken before or after Love Actually?
Oh, it was after Love Actually.
Okay.
Yeah, but because that was the second half because he's had the commuter, that winter one where he was the snowplow guy and started murdering people.
Didn't he also release the Kraken?
He did release the Kraken. Yeah, he was Zeus, wasn't he? Or was he?
I don't know. It's like a piece of shit.
I watched it. But yeah, so that was something of note I had, but we don't have to talk about that anymore. Let's do this beer real quick. You say you think you've had this beer.
Does Four Hands make this?
It was Supremium Hypster, or Hipster, with a Y, Beast Mode Pale Ale. No, it's from Pipeworks Brewing Company. Brewed and bottled in Chi-Town, Illinois. They don't say anything.
Looks familiar.
It's a pale ale with Mosaic,
Not to be confused with John Mosaic.
Amarillo, and some other Cryo Mosaic? I don't even know what that is. Cryo Mosaic powder. So let's give it a go.
Alrighty. Bombs up.
It's a New England hazy style pale ale. It's not bad. 6.5% by volume. Alcohol by volume.
Yeah.
I can drink that.
Yeah.
That's Beast Mode. My daughter picked it out because it said Beast Mode on it.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you think of it? Out of 5.
3.25.
I was going to go 3, but I'm going to round up just to be just like you. Let's see if we can
adorable.
keep that going through the whole episode. What else you got today to talk about?
Well, let's go on a little bit of a nerd tangent.
Okay.
Last time I was here, I was about 2/3 of the way through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now I've come to only one left. Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay.
Which is a little tougher to get my hands on.
Because it's so new still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not on any of the streaming services that I have.
But that means you've seen Endgame.
I did see Endgame, yeah.
And what did you think?
I had it, I believe, ranked 4th. It was a fantastic movie.
I thought Infinity War was better.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really damn good closing to that era of
Absolutely.
movies.
I mean, it was very emotional. I teared up a bunch of different times. I could tell, though, when I was watching it, it was kind of almost like major fan service.
Oh, man. Okay.
But, it's a great movie. I just knew I can't put it up there with Thor Ragnarok and Guardians.
And Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, because I'm not sure how actually good of a movie it was, but it was fun as fuck.
It was an event. It was an
event.
Festival. So the fan service thing. There was the female fan service when all the women come together.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have no problem with it, other than I hate when things feel forced. There was some really diehard comic book moments, like I told you, when Cap tightens up the shield and he's ready to take on Thanos by himself.
Yeah.
And I told you, that was the first tear-jerking moment when he goes, over your right, or whatever, Cap, and you hear Sam, and he turns around, and all the people are coming back.
Well, what about when he got the hammer?
Oh, I knew it. It was just a good feel-good moment. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah. Also,
Tony hugs Peter.
it's a good one. The one, which we're not going to too much dive in and dissect the stupid plot holes, like how literally Doctor Strange can hack people's arms off by creating a little portal and making it disappear. Why not just cut his arm off? Something like that. But we will say this. It was awesome. It worked out the way it should.
Fun as hell.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. The only thing I do not like about it is there was no Hulk moment, and they did that on purpose. Well, I'm sure if he's going to be in other movies, we're going to get a Hulk moment, but it was all funny when he was like, and stuff like that, but still, I wanted to see the Hulk.
Sure.
And I wanted to see him get another chance at Thanos, but we didn't see it. But that's okay.
I'm trying to think what else I saw. I also saw, obviously, Captain Marvel, which I thought was fine.
It's a good movie. There's nothing bad about it.
Yeah, and then Ant-Man and Wasp, also fine.
Not as good as the first one, which was
Agreed.
a very good movie.
Yeah.
I love the supporting cast in Ant-Man and Wasp. I think they do a great job.
Yeah, Walter Goggins always a delight.
Well, yeah, and the his crew
Yeah.
with the guy from Narcos and all that stuff. What's his name?
Michael Pena.
Yeah, he's great. Great actor.
He is a good actor.
He can be serious. He can be tough guy. He can be funny guy.
Yeah.
He can do it all. Just crazy. What a weird. I don't want to sound too bad, but for a Hispanic guy that's not like physically imposing, really carved out a way of not being typecasted in his career.
Yeah.
Just good at his job, I guess.
He does comedy probably better than the serious stuff, but he does the good concerned father in one movie I saw him in with a futuristic robots.
Oh, yeah. I can't think of the name of it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
I like it. So that means what all did you had missed? You had missed Captain Marvel, you had missed Endgame, you had missed
Ant-Man and Wasp.
Ant-Man and Wasp. So that's pretty much it. You just need Spider-Man Far From Home.
And then I'll probably see Black Widow in the theaters.
Far From Home, very good movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I like it. I think I like it better than even Homecoming. But you have to completely throw out everything you know about holograms because it's silly. It's the way their whole gimmick. But still a good movie. Very good movie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Jake Gyllenhaal, great actor too. When he
is a good actor.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I'm proud of it. Yeah, and Black Widow to me looks very exciting.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
It was sad to watch her fall to her demise.
Good moment. Another good moment in it.
Yeah, good moment.
Yeah. I like it. I'm happy for it. I'm happy you're now a nerd.
Proud to be here.
So, now you deserve to be on this show. You know what? We're doing a piss poor job of getting through these beers. I got a feeling we're only going to get to rate one more beer before this is over.
Probably true.
Yeah, I guess. Let me see if I had anything else to talk about on my list.
Sort of watching a show on Netflix that's total trash.
What is it?
Love is Blind.
I saw
Have you
the
heard of
trailer
this?
for
Yeah.
it, but I didn't watch it.
It's trashy. But the concept is interesting. Basically, you don't see this person, and if you want to see them, you have to be engaged, and then you get to see the person, and then have 30 days to decide if you actually want to marry them.
Oh, that's weird.
Of course, all these people are very attractive, and
Not a dog in the mix.
not too many. At least not.
Do they pull changes on you like, well, they're black or they're Asian or something?
There's one couple that is interracial.
Okay.
Everybody else is on the same
But
line.
was it a thing like, oh, she's a black woman or something like that?
No, but the one thing they did was one of the women was that was talking to the camera. She was African American, and there was a guy's like, so I could tell by your voice you're black, and she's just like, cross off the list.
Oh man,
Yeah, and then they never showed that guy again. Like, well, everyone's gonna think this guy's a racist. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that, but
yeah. But you're right. He might not be a racist. He just might be an idiot,
yeah.
which is okay.
Well,
I mean,
some of the girls were talking about like any guy who tried to guess what I looked like or asked me questions on my looks, I immediately dismissed because that's not the point of the experiment, quote unquote.
yeah.
So
I mean, so the inflection and people's voices aside, literally, even if you could guess that it's a black person or an Asian person or a Hispanic person or just a straight Pennsylvania Dutch white person, you still don't know what they look like.
right.
The only thing I will say is, based on my knowledge of every single dating show in the history of TV, you got an idea that they're good looking.
Right.
You just know they don't put ugly people on shows.
Sure.
And I apologize to ugly people, but you don't get your shot on shows.
You're not making it to the final casting.
You got American Horror Story if you need it. But yeah. Oh, speaking of American Horror Story, Macaulay Culkin making his debut on that next season. I don't know if it started or not, but I know he's on it. Interesting choice to come back to acting for him.
Yeah. Is he
Smart.
mid-30s?
It seems like he's got to be like Bender's age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just weird. He's one of those guys where it's hard to see him grown up.
I wonder how much money he's got in the bank.
I don't know. Check his net worth out.
All right. Please hold.
You check it. As you check it, I'm going to put the over under $32 million. I'm going to say for $32 million.
I'm going to go over.
You can go over that. You got all that residuals coming in from, at the time, one of the biggest movies of all time.
I mean, he was Richie Rich, for God's sakes.
Oh, I forgot he was Richie Rich. Well, that's infinite. Like, Richie Rich is like stupid. I once watched him on the cartoon when he...
Well, I am dead wrong.
16 million.
Yeah, good job.
Was it 16?
Yeah.
After I said 32, I was like, the teens is a lot of money. So, good for him. You ever?
Yeah.
Let me ask you if you ever do this. I'm not saying I do it.
I mean, really, honestly, for as big as he was, 60 million, yeah, I guess it's not terrible. I wouldn't mind 15 of that.
I'm not gonna say this is me, but I'm gonna say I might know a guy who does this. And it's not even for a perverted spank bank kind of thing. But let me ask you if you do this.
All right.
You see an actress,
Okay.
and anymore, you wonder. I wonder if they've been nude in anything, and you look it up, and not like Mr. Skin look it up, but like I find myself genuinely wondering, like, for one, Captain Marvel. I was watching something last night she was in. I was like, I wonder if she's ever posed nude in a movie or been nude in a movie. Not necessarily because I want to see her nude, which I do want to see them nude all the time, but I wanted because.
So, wait, did you put in the fappening? Did you do that? Did you go that far?
No, I just Google. I mean, you don't even have to do that. You just Google and go to images. It's there.
Yeah.
You know? And Mary Elizabeth Winstead or whatever the girl that kind of looks like her from what's her name in Captain Marvel? Why am I blanking on her name? The main actress, Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of look like, but Mary Elizabeth Winstead has been nude, and she's been nude on a Netflix show, and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that movie, so I know that one. So, I would have never bought into Alison Brie being nude up until, the Netflix show, Glow.
Yeah, that's true.
I just want, and again, yes, I'm not going to lie. I tried to mislead everybody and say it was a guy. No, but it was me. But
I think you're right. Pretty much.
you think they saw through it?
Yeah.
But it's not even always just. I mean, there is some perversion to it, but it's not always like I just want to see a hot chick nude. I genuinely anymore with actresses. I wonder if they've been nude because with the world we live in now.
You can spin this any way you want to.
I know, but
it's not going to fly.
It's interesting to see who has been and who hasn't been. Busy Phillips never been nude.
Oh, but she's had an abortion. She was very proud of.
Oh.
You see that?
I did not know that.
She went on a weird tirade this past week about having an abortion when she was 15, and she hadn't had that abortion.
15?
Yeah.
Wow.
And if she hadn't had that abortion, she would have never made it into Hollywood.
I have no problem with that Yeah, I mean, 15-year-olds
probably shouldn't be having kids.
Yeah.
That's a big burden.
Well, so I found myself watching her. It was a commercial. She's like, I have dry skin. I was like, Busy Phillips. Not trying to poo-poo it on for anybody or be weird about it, but kind of more of a natural body now in her. Now that she's
what, our age?
Yeah.
40?
But like when she was young, she was a model. So I was like,
really?
I wonder if she's ever been nude. She has not been nude, and I was like, I would have bet she had been. I spent 2 pages, the G, the O, and I was like, I'm done. She hasn't been. If you can't find it by that far, they've not been nude.
Yeah, I probably would have said no, too, just because, she was pretty young when she was on Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, but she was also in
Cougar Town.
Cougar Town, and then she's been in some films, but...
Yeah.
Pretty. Is she pretty?
She's cute.
Yeah. More, like I said, more of a... not to demean actors and actresses.
Yeah, this is going...
More of a real-looking person.
Yeah, Bender or Missy were here. We would not be getting away with this.
We would totally do it. But more of a real-looking person. That's kind of what made me think. I'm like, she doesn't look like a supermodel.
She's like St. Charles County hot.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for.
Like, man, Jake's mom is kind of hot.
Yeah, that's what made me want to see if she's ever been nude. Like, I wonder if Jake's mom's been nude, you know?
To answer your question, though, because I feel bad that I was being let off the hook here. Yeah, but I don't watch a lot of TV shows or movies now. I'm trying to think. The last time I looked, Jesus, this is a long time ago. True Detective, and then she ends up getting nude in the True Detective.
Which girl?
Oh God,
What's her name?
Nelson's wife?
Who was
Burnett.
Yeah, she's
She was in Baywatch, I think, too.
Yeah, she always plays The Rock's daughter and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the hottest women in the world.
All I had to wait was like 2 episodes, and she took her top off. But I was like, God, that woman is gorgeous.
Maybe one of the hottest women in the world.
Yeah.
And she's been The Rock's daughter, I think, in 1 or 2 movies. And her mom, who they cast to play her mom all the time, is the perfect casting. That girl looks like she would be the daughter of that woman in The Rock.
Brunette and blue eyes. Whew.
Oh boy, she's dangerous hot.
Yeah.
What's that? I tell you who else has been nude in quite a bit of things, and it took me, and then I realized, oh yeah, that started in True Blood. That girl from Mean Girls who was the friend that helped plot against the plastics, and gosh, I can't think of her name. But
God. There's a podcast called Wait, Don't Tell Me, and I feel like I'm in a perfect position for that right now. Lindsay, does that sound right? She was on Party Down too.
Yes, yeah.
And she was in Masters of Sex.
Yes. Her name Lizzie Kaplan.
Yeah,
Another girl that should be proud of her body.
She's cute.
Yeah.
She was great. She was great in Party Down.
She's great in that Masters of Sex. I've only watched a little bit of it, but
I was excited about Kinsey, the guy.
Yeah.
I remember. So Kinsey taught at the Indiana University, and when I went
you went there.
Well, actually, I went there for a year and a half, and I was on a tour, and the person goes, "That is the second in that library on the top 2 floors is the second most porn collected in the entire universe." Do you know? Do you know number 1?
Well, I want to say it's somewhere in the San Fernando Valley, but I'm going to go ahead and say the Library of Congress.
The Vatican.
Oh, the Vatican. Why does the Vatican do it?
I don't know. I didn't ask. It could be total bullshit, but I was like, makes sense.
That,
to confiscate shit, maybe? I don't know.
I guess. I don't
Let
know.
those priests have something to do besides
I'd have
diddle.
to see the facts on that. I mean, not that I poo-pooing on your tour guide, but the Vatican.
The facts of life.
Well, I mean, the San Fernando Valley is in the Silicon Valley. That's the number one.
Speaking of facts, Mrs. Garrett back in the day, va-va-voom.
Really? When she was younger?
Well, even in like the 50s, when she was 50 on the show, I mean, she had a nice, she had an ample bosom.
She looked like everybody's
Girls.
neighbor, old lady neighbor.
All right, facts of life draft. Who are you taking number 1?
For hotness?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. Well, Blair, even though she's uppity, probably actually was the prettier the one. Jo is who everybody had the crush on.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, everybody had the crush on Jo, but you watch it now and you think, oh, she was 80s hot. That's what it was.
Jo? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I bet Natalie gives a great blowjob.
Natalie went downhill. But
They're terrible.
yeah. Oh, who cares?
Nobody's listening anyway.
Oh, no, they do. Oh, actually, I wanted to bring it up, too. We actually saw
All right, let's share this.
one of our single biggest months in a long time. We had like a massive double output month. So
Wow.
so whoever's spreading the word out there, 1, we appreciate, 2, we apologize.
Yeah, the comedic stylings of one Jeremy O'Hannon. And,
Yeah. Let's try this beer and then we'll say speaking of comedy.
So let's start off with Civil Life now, obviously, is canning.
Yes, this is their cream ale. I've got 2 more of these upstairs because Missy really loves cream ale. Yeah, she does. It is oats impart extra milkness to the bright, crispy, easy drinking summer golden ale. Sorry I stumbled through that. It was kind of hard to read, but
Yeah, that's some small print there.
this is from, like you said, Civil Life. I really like their cans. They're like very classic looking.
Is Civil Life underrated?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they took them so long to can and stuff, and they used to be cash only at their bars.
I believe once upon a time we had their head brewer on this very podcast.
We had, yeah, and their beer, their brown ale is probably one of the best. Both their American and their North English brown are both amazing. I don't see the ABVs on here, but I'm fairly sure they're probably in the 5 range. But it's a cream ale, and I like cream ales.
I think you can make a case that Civil Life Brown is the best beer in St. Louis.
Best annually produced beer? I wouldn't. I would say that it's in the running. Light, crispy, maybe not as creamy as I like out of my cream ales, especially the West Coast. But I could drink this on a summer day.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it right out of 3.
I'll go with 3 as well. It's got kind of a... It's not a clean finish. I wish it was a little more of a clean finish.
Yeah, I could see that.
I want to brush my teeth.
It's soapy.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's what it is. But still not bad. Speaking of comedy, or lack of comedy, I don't know why I started it, but I really had a good time with our posters on the poster parodies.
I liked my post.
The Ferris Bueller, I just thought it worked. I thought this is a movie that Tom will like. I thought, and then...
Does that movie hold up?
Oh, man. If that movie's on right now, I could stop the podcast and watch it, and we'd be happy. I love that movie. I think it holds up pretty good.
Whatever happened to Sloane?
Don't know, but I'm now going to find out if she's ever been naked in a movie. I can tell you that. Weird hot. Sloane was weird hot.
I bet she appears in a random episode of, Silk Stockings.
Oh, I was going to say, she was like a girlfriend on 2.5 Men or something, or a mom of a kid or something. Yeah, who knows? But she was hot. Yeah. And
very cute.
A lot of good... There were some good people in that movie, too. I mean...
Charlie Sheen.
Well, yeah, Charlie Sheen.
Jennifer Grey.
And Jennifer Grey, completely not the same portrayal as Dirty Dancing. I mean...
No.
She was an uppity bitch who was unappealing, and in Dirty Dancing, she was like, the young, quiet girl hot.
But wait, doesn't she do Ferris a solid at the end?
She does. She ends up at the very end like, Ferris, why would you walk home from the doctor in your condition, And so Rooney had to, suck it up. He was great. Whatever happened to that guy? Has he ever been Me Too'd or anything?
Jeffrey Jones? Yeah.
Yeah, what happened there? I thought so.
Kid porn.
Oh, that's what it was. That's too bad. Because he was like...
That's too bad for the children who were exploited.
Yeah, because he was an 80s, bad guy or dad or something. I mean, he was in a lot of 80s films.
And he's also pretty good in Deadwood.
Oh, yeah. I want to say, too, I think he was the dad in... I can't think of the name of it, but there was a movie... where these kids wanted satellite, and the devil put in a satellite dish, and it sucked them into the TV.
That sounds right.
And I think he was the dad in that.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Or a character in it. Good. I miss 80s movies.
He's also the neighbor in the movie House Guest with Sinbad and Phil Hartman.
Oh, that makes sense.
Where they did a whole bit about washing your balls on the golf course, which I found hilarious when I was a child.
Joe Rogan had an episode of his podcast this past week where he talked about Phil Hartman. When Phil Hartman was 18 years old, he was a stagehand at a venue and literally was standing 4 foot from Jimi Hendrix while he was shredding. His job was to hold the speakers from falling into the crowd. And he was talked about that, and he would tell Joe that story. And Joe's like, Jimi Hendrix. Phil was 4 or 5 feet from Jimi Hendrix watching him shred on the guitar.
Oh, man. Phil Hartman just, it's a damn tragedy.
Oh, man, that's one of those things when Joe talks about it, you hear the pain all the time because of how great a guy he was.
Yeah, apparently he was just the nicest guy. And
it did not get success until super late in life. It was his 40s when he got on SNL.
Oh, that late?
Yeah. When he was on news radio, he was 47 years old.
Okay.
That's why, because they were doing the show. They were like, how could he have seen Jimi Hendrix? And he goes, you got to understand. Joe goes, he was 47 when news radio hit, so he'd already went through SNL. He didn't
because he was SCTV, wasn't he?
He went through the Groundlings.
Okay,
and he started the Groundlings when he was in his 30s. So that's like Rodney Dangerfield. He didn't get famous until late in life.
Has Joe Rogan ever talked about Andy Dick and John Lovitz and how they hate each other because of Phil Hartman?
No, he did. I've never heard it. So
do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
So John Lovitz blames Andy Dick for Phil Hartman's death because Andy Dick got, I guess, Phil Hartman's wife was sober for a while. Then Andy Dick gave her drugs at a house party, and during that next spiel of her losing her sobriety is when she ended up killing Phil.
Well, Joe does talk about his death from time to time, and he's never said that story. So I'm guessing that the stories he's told about her is that everybody their entire life whether she was sober or not, would constantly tell Phil to get away from her.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess that maybe that is just John Lovitz. I don't know.
Well, it's probably somebody portraying their grief on somebody to blame.
That's what I mean. Maybe that's.
But Andy Dick is kind of fucking out there.
He's got a lot of problems.
Got some demons, as they would say.
Joe Rogan did have a great story one time about John Lovitz with podcasting, and he even did it, mimicked his voice. He goes, "Hey, I should do a podcast, Joe." He goes, "Maybe you can put me on your network." And he's like, I don't have a network. He goes, "Yeah, you do. You make all that money." He goes, "Well, you know, it's not how it works, and I don't have a network." He goes, "Nah, you just do it, and then we'll make." He goes, "You pay me to be on." He goes, "Well, no one's going to pay you to do a podcast." He goes, "Well, then why would you do it? Why would you do it if no one's paying you?" He goes, "Well, you get famous on it, and then you start making money." He goes, "Well, you could just pay me to be on yours." He goes, "I don't have a network. It's just me." And he's like, he goes, to this day, he still says, "I still want to be on your network." And he's like, "I don't have one." You know?
Like, I think John Lovitz is still like touring, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think people say he does great. Other comics say he's great still.
But he's like tours like he's not doing like
No, he doesn't do massive stuff.
he's doing like the TikTok in and
Yeah. No, well, they
Decatur, Illinois.
yeah. Who knows? What a weird dude. But what a I tell you this though. What a naturally funny guy though.
Acting.
Yeah, just his skits on SNL were great. It wasn't even his fault on news radio that the show tanked after. In fact, they were always on the verge of getting canceled. But he was good on it. It's just Phil Hartman made that. You know?
Yeah. That's definitely not his fault. I mean, it's so hard to replace a legend like that. I mean, I can only think of one time that ever worked, and that was Woody and Coach.
Yeah, that did. And Coach was really struggling that whole last season, too.
Yeah.
So, you're right. Woody, well, I mean, Cheers did it twice. They replaced Diane with Rebecca. I mean...
Well, I'm just talking about replace someone who died.
Yeah, Well, big character.
But
yeah, you're
I
right.
agree.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I tell you what made that show for me, News Radio, which I loved News Radio, was Jimmy, the radio, the guy that owned the network, the radio station, Jimmy James. He was really
Is he still with us?
I don't know. Yes, because he's been on Barry. Remember, he was on Barry.
Oh yeah.
He was DB Cooper.
Yeah,
we found out on this show, and he was great. He was one of my favorite jokes on it too. Is
what's his name?
I can't remember his name. Jimmy James was his name on the show. But one of my favorite jokes is the window to Dave Foley's office was broke. And people were just walking in and out of the window. So so Jimmy James was leaving, and he walked up on the couch and stepped up and was walking out at the same time Dave Foley was walking in. He goes, "Evening, Ralph. Morning, Ralph." It was the old Looney Tunes joke with the dogs. I loved it.
Stephen Root.
Stephen Root, that's right. Good actor. Another good actor.
That's a good show.
Yeah, it was a great show. I kind of maybe want to go back and watch it.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, Joe Rogan said he was on the verge of leaving L.A., and he got a.
So is Joe Rogan like on good terms with everybody on the show?
Oh yeah, him and Dave Foley are two of the best friends. Like he respects the shit out of Dave Foley.
Quickly, power rankings post Kids in the Hall. What do you got?
Well, one, I'll say this: he still is the only person on the show that doesn't talk to people, and he said this. I can't remember her name. Was the black woman that left it early because she did not like her character on the show.
Huh.
But even the girl that went to ER, the main girl from the show, I can't remember her name, but they still all get along really good.
Oh, okay.
Post SNL, or post Kids in the Hall, and we're going to talk about that again here in the Throw It to Missy segment when we get there. Dave Foley, I think, is the top for me.
It's probably Dave, Mark.
What's Mark do?
He was on SNL.
Oh, yeah, for a little
bit. And now
bit.
he's on Superstore.
And he also, I think he does a lot of the...
Which I don't watch Superstore, but apparently people like it a lot.
Yeah, it keeps coming back, and it keeps getting... It's like, you know what it's like? It's a lot like The Good Place. It's quietly became a hit.
Yeah. Then probably Bruce, then Kevin, then Scott?
Well, Kevin, though, has quite a massive career of improv and goes around and teaching. And Kevin does. Well, and Bruce, and Mark, too. Mark's big-time director and stuff. Scott, I mean, they're just all great. They're all great. Dave, I think, was the biggest star actor.
Yeah.
I mean, not just because of that show, but he'd done movies. He's done quite a bit of things. Again, just I'm pumped to see them do a reuniting thing. That's the other thing. Yeah, that's what I was going to put a pin in.
Nice.
Let's just go ahead and throw it to Missy. Let's finish this beer. Maybe we'll drink another beer when we're done. But yeah, so they just announced, I don't know if it's on HBO or Netflix or what, but Kids in the Hall, the original cast, is going to reunite. I don't know if they're going to do a sketch show, if they're going to do a reunion show or what.
They went on tour together 5 or 7 years ago. Did not come to St. Louis.
Yeah, so where does Kids in the Hall rank in your hierarchy of sketch comedy? Listen, first off, let's throw out SNL and like Mad TV because those were sketch comedy shows, but those were more live shows. Let's talk about SCTV, Kids in the Hall. There was Exit 57. There was
It's probably for me number one, and here's why. It's back in the fledgling days of Comedy Central when I was a kid. Kids in the Hall was on all the
reruns,
time,
yeah.
And skits that I found hilarious then are still really funny. Like I quote them with our good friend of the show Drew all the time. In a sketch show too. There's going to be weak links. All 5 of them develop characters. Yeah. All 5 are really funny. I probably liked. I think Mark was probably the worst for me, although he's very popular. I didn't like Chicken Lady.
I didn't like Chicken Lady.
I didn't like Crushing Your Head guy that much.
I did like Crushing Your Head guy.
I think the best character was Buddy, Scott's gay character.
Yeah, especially when he hit the home run.
Yeah.
So I was old enough and was lucky enough to live out in the country with nothing to do and had parents that were never around that I would wait up on Saturday nights to watch it new on HBO. So I remember watching it. And I got to tell you, as far as I don't know why this is one of my favorite characters, reoccurring characters on the show, but Mr. Heavyfoot was one of my favorite. Mr. Heavyfoot goes on a date. Mr. Heavyfoot crosses traffic. Mr. Heavyfoot anything. But in the last season, they had Mr. Heavyfoot goes to the moon. And for me, as a 12-year-old or whatever it was, who had invested in the show, loved this show, loved all the characters, that may have been the greatest payoff of my early 2 decades of life.
Yeah.
Mr. Heavyfoot, and all it was Mr. Heavyfoot goes to the moon, and he's tap dancing on the moon because he's no gravity, so his feet are keeping him like a normal person.
Yeah.
The Mr. Heavyfoot goes on a date was great. He pulls up to the house at 10 till, and he starts walking up the stairs, and by the time he gets to the top, it's 10 after, and she opens the door and slaps him and shuts the door, and he goes, and slouches and starts walking back down the stairs. That's funny shit.
Yeah.
Naked Bellini,
Oh, Bellini, absolutely.
I love all that stuff.
The movie Brain Candy, great movie.
Oh boy, underrated,
big time.
In fact, I haven't watched it in a long time. Maybe I should watch it. But you know what? But
they got the dad walks out of the gay orgy and goes, "It's all yours, Captain."
There was that's hilarious. But there was a bunch of shows like I said, Exit 57 on Comedy Central. They did it for a while. The Whitest Kids You Know. There've been a bunch of really underrated, solid sketch comedy shows that.
I really like the one on Netflix. I think you should.
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch that. Yeah, because that's. I mean, all of those kind of shows to me are Mr. Show.
Yeah, Mr. Show.
Mr. Show is awesome. Coupon the Movie, maybe one of my favorite sketches of all time. The reason I love it is because he goes, they're like.
Upright Citizens Brigade.
Oh yeah, Upright Citizens
Brigade. That would be neck and neck with Kids in the Hall.
Big one. Now, is that where Amy Poehler came from?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good cast. One of my favorite thing in Mr. Show was on Coupon the Movie. The whole idea was this was supposed to be the biggest movie ever made, Coupon the Movie, and then no one went and saw it, so the studio sued America and made them go see it. And they go, "We're here at the Westgate 64, and we're going to interview some people that came out. Sir, what did you think?" And he holds up a ticket. He goes, "I watched the shit out of this movie." And then he just keeps walking. I just die laughing when I saw that. Yeah, there's a lot of good shows I'd like to revisit on that.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the one that you. In fact, with no wife here, and I'm gonna edit this episode. That might be what happens for the rest.
Watch
of
a little Upright Citizens Brigade.
No, the one on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I think you should leave.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. But,
that's good.
So
stuff.
Now that we're officially in, throw it to Missy, and then we'll do one more beer when we're done here. What? Anything else you got? Quick hits.
Well, hey, those St. Louis Blues are getting down to the playoff stretch here, and lost a tough one the other night, but playing the Blackhawks as we speak. I have not seen what the score is, but Hey, let's bring home a winner. Tarasenko coming back here soon.
They did go on a win streak, right?
8 games in a row. Those Avalanche are nipping at their heels.
At the end of the first period, it was 0-0.
Oh, well, let's watch the second period and enjoy another beer.
I got to watch a little bit of the Cardinals today. I don't know if people are aware, but they are in first place in the Florida League.
A little weird letting Yairo Munoz go.
Yeah, Yair Munoz. Yeah, I don't know why. I'd like to see the.
Apparently, he just decided to leave, and they're like, "Fuck it, we're just going to release him."
Well, see you later.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to be there, then you're a cancer in the locker room. So
he basically, I guess, was pouting that he was not given the opportunity to start more games.
He's at a position that's tough.
Yeah, it's like you are a utility guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's a shortstop. Our shortstop hit 30 home runs last year in DeYoung.
Yep.
Tommy Edman seems to be, which we don't need to get into this right now, but Tommy Edman might be one of the most overhyped players on the team.
Yeah.
I hope he succeeds. I love the story, but his little production last year after 90 games, his entire minor league career would suggest that was a freak accident. So, but still, though, he's got a hot hand, and Munoz wasn't going to get playing time over him. And
right.
If Carpenter's right, Carpenter mashes.
It's a big if.
Never going to leave Wong. Me and Kalen got to see Wong's Gold Glove Award yesterday.
Oh, that's cool.
At Dick's in Chesterfield.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, but regardless, the Cardinals look like they're putting up a lot of runs. The pitching staff, the starting pitching, now that they're stretching to 4 and 5 innings, look pretty good right now. So, hey, that's baseball, though. Right now we're in the middle of hockey season. I think we're done, so you can just go ahead and take us out with...
Let's go, Blues!
And no one's here. This was a lackluster 200, but we're going to play the music, and maybe 201 will be good.
Oh.
Oh, can't be worse.